probably gonna be like, what the fuck? How could you get into trouble? This, that. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, i.e. that is iconic Eunice. If you're new to this channel, I want to say welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, I want to thank you so much for joining me here again today. It is another sit down video. I am here with you today to do my makeup and run my mouth because that's what I do best, okay? I run my mouth like somebody is chasing it, so that's what we're gonna do today as well. I'm doing a light beat because after this I want to shoot a quick try on haul, and I figured why not do my makeup and do another segment of like life advice, chit chat kind of deal while I do my makeup. Yesterday I posted a video. You guys are gonna see that video. You guys are gonna see the try on haul, and then you guys will see this video. But today the topic of discussion is gonna be mother wounds. Mother wounds. You hear me? Hopefully I'm saying that. I have a little bit of an accent so you can understand. Maybe I'll put it on the screen so you see it. I'll spell it out on the screen so you see it. But yeah, I'm going to talk about mother wounds because I, for one, really truly understand it. And a lot of us have it. But I feel like in our community, it's rarely discussed. And if it's discussed, I feel like there is like a bias towards the mother instead of like an even playing field where we can see both sides. So I just want to talk about my experience with it, what it looks like, if you have it, how to deal with it, and stuff like that. So let's get started. I haven't done my base, but I did do my eyebrow off camera. I did the best I could. You guys understand. This is a disclaimer. I'm not a makeup artist. I don't know what I'm doing with these things. I'm just trying my hand at it. And yeah. Alright, so let's get started. I'm just going to do a quick beat. It's nothing serious. I honestly don't even think I'm going to use like foundation. Or am I going to use like my color corrector? I'm going to use a concealer to kind of correct some of my dark spots and call it a day. Okay, so I'm a child of trauma. I've done a video before where I was just like, you know, I try to cut everyone off family-wise because sometimes as a child, I'm a grown adult, but to my parents, I'm still a child in their mind, I think. I feel like you feel like you're not getting heard, so you're just like, what's the point? And I'm kind of still there. And I effed around and found out that I am the oldest daughter, so the trauma is even more extent. You guys know I'm doing my makeup, so my thought is going to be all over the place. But I grew up in the back roots of Sierra Leone, and my mother grew up in the even backer roots of Sierra Leone. Like, life was not really easy to her. And then she grew up in an era where women were really looked down upon and they weren't even valued, nor did they get education or any of that type of stuff. So she grew up at a disadvantaged time. From a young age, she wasn't really allowed to like go to school. She didn't start getting like educational things. Like, she had to find her own way education wise as she got older, because that was not the norm. Like, women were not allowed to go to school, seriously. And then also, like, she came from like a polygamous background, so like she has tons of siblings, none of them get along, so she's a child of trauma, and I understand that. So and then also she's an older daughter. She's like the oldest daughter in her mom's group of children, because like I said, she has other siblings because her father was a polygamist, and that's very natural in Sierra Leone. So I do understand my mother's background, and my parents had me when they had absolutely nothing. I genuinely feel like they had no business having kids. I really do. I think those two just needed to go ahead and work on get some money before they had us. But also back in the day, having a child just made you more of an adult, okay? And my dad wanted kids, and he found my mom, and my mom was single, and he was able to talk her into having kids. And to this day, she would tell you she really wasn't wanting kids. She would tell me she didn't want kids at the time she met my dad. But she was a woman. It was survival. Here was a man offering her something, so she took it. It sounds horrible, but that's the reality. So she took it, and she had me. And my parents had absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing when they started off with me. So my mom was super young. She doesn't know motherhood. She's coming into a family, and she doesn't have support from her family because she's like detached from them at this point. So she has no support. And then I come along, right? The stress of not having money, and then also being a young mom, not knowing what you're doing. She did what she could. She was a militant. My mom was a militant. At least during my era, she was a militant, okay? So growing up, I always knew, like, something off about this lady. Like, something ain't right with this woman. She just had no patience for my BS as a child. Like, she just had no patience. Like, I was required to grow up extremely quickly and fast. And then Sierra Leone is not really a place you want to raise a very timid child, which is what I came out as. I came out avoiding human interaction. I came out introverted. But once again, we're in Sierra Leone. Who the hell knows what those words means? Nobody. Nobody knows what that means. And so I was odd already. She's having troubles in like her marital home because, you know, in Sierra Leone, the mother-in-laws are crazy, the sister-in-laws are crazy, you're battling that. Okay. So when I was growing up, my mom was just like a militant. No wrong, you can't do wrong in her eyes. Like, you really, like, if she didn't like repeating herself, she didn't give grace. Everything was like, you spare the rod, you spoil the child. Like, literally, she was a militant. So I grew up kind of resenting her because she was quick with the rod, quick with beating. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. And then also she was very hyper spiritual. No, actually I take it back. Not spiritual. She was hyper religious. So everything was like sinful. So exploring for me was frowned upon. Expressing myself in a way was frowned upon. I was basically raised in a household where it was like you were supposed to be seen, not heard. So if I was like to do too much to be seen, like to be heard, oh, that was a no-no. Talking back, absolutely not. So when it was time for me to move to the States and I was leaving my mama behind, oh girl, you know I was excited. I was happy, happy, happy. I couldn't wait to get away from that. From someone I deemed to be an oppressor. To this day, I believe she is an oppressor, but I'll continue. So I couldn't wait to leave and come to the country, to this country, to the US, away from her. Because baby, if I was underneath my mom up to the age of adult, I wouldn't have flourished and I wouldn't have found my own identity. I really truly believe that wholeheartedly. I came with my dad. It was more of like a relaxed atmosphere. My dad also tried to be very, very strict, but then he realized, oh, like the stricter he was getting, the more like pushback he was getting from myself. Mostly, not maybe not my younger sister, but definitely me. I definitely was like, oh no, we're not doing this again. But I always knew eventually my mom would come. I always knew my dad loved my mom, and eventually he was going to bring her over to the States. I remember when I found out my mom was coming, and most people, you think you're filled with joy, you're filled with happiness. I was filled with, I was happy to see that my mom was coming, but I was filled with dread because I just knew our relationship wasn't the best, right? Like in her eyes, she was doing me a favor by being super strict, by, restricting me. In her eyes, she was doing that for my own good. And you know, I kind of do see that because of where I grew up. She didn't like, I wasn't allowed to like talk to boys, which I can kind of understand. But it was done in a not so loving way. It was almost like in opposition of who I was as a persona. And it wasn't like I was like very frisky. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like all I cared about was boys, boys, boys. But she wanted to taper that down in me earlier on. I don't understand why, because even when I came to the States and I had the freedom to be about boys, 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 I really, to this day, I understand the dangers of men. So I, like, my dad kind of instilled that in me. So to this day, I'm not like boy crazy. I just have no need for them. Come to find out, she is on the opposite side of that, which is why she tried to dim it in me quickly. So I need to get this one going. So when she was coming, I was dreadful. I was just like, oh no. Because I just know she is someone who sets the rules, but the rules don't apply to her. She takes accountability for absolutely nothing. And she doesn't know how to apologize. She doesn't know how to follow boundaries. Like, you set a boundary for her, you might as well curse her out and tell her she's insignificant. That's how she feels. Like, to her, I'm her property. She has the right to do whatever she wants to me because I'm her child. And that just doesn't fly with me. And that's not how kind of like my dad raised me and my younger sister. My dad was very respectful of like some of our boundaries. I mean, he had to be. He was a man. So there were just certain things he couldn't really do with us. He just had to respect our boundaries. But even with my younger brother, my dad kind of respects his boundaries. Like, if you give him too much pushback, he's gonna fall back and let you go find out. He's literally a fuck around and find out type parent. He gonna warn you, he gonna tell you the dangers, but if you are choosing to not listen, he gonna let you go find out. My mother is not that. My mother is a do what I say you ought to do, or else there will be beef. And then also, my mom is a woman, so she has a lot of like jealousy. She has a lot of like control issues. Like, she wants to be in charge all of the time. And she wants to dominate all of the time. So, you know, she's a little bit, I would say she's a little bit of a, like, she has a little bit of a narcissistic tendency. Like, she wants to control the atmosphere. Like, if she sees like the atmosphere, she wants to make sure everybody is regulating with her emotions, if that makes sense. Like, if she's sad, everybody should be sad and worried why she's sad. And if she changes the atmosphere, that's what the atmosphere has to be. It has to now be tense if she's tense. So growing away from her, I kind of found a way to regulate my own emotions and my own, like, get my own sense of whatever going. So it's not really, it's hard for her to kind of rule in that way. And then also, she met me as an adult. Like, the nurturing, discipline part was done. Like, I am an adult. I live with you, but I have my own independent thoughts. I have my own mindset. I realize how things are to be done, you know, on my own terms. But she doesn't want to have that. So we never really clicked, honestly. And we never really clicked, mostly because she just does not know how to apologize. She just doesn't know how to do that. And then she also just doesn't know how to, like, take boundaries properly, which is fine. And this is where mother wounds comes in. And then also, like, I never got like the soft, mushy love from a mom, and she couldn't give that. Even if my mother tried to give that, she possibly could not give that, because she grew up in a very hard knock environment. Like, be tough or get screwed. So she grew up that, and she doesn't trust anyone. So she's in a new country. She's dealing with kids who grew up in a different environment, and she's coming up with a mindset that doesn't necessarily work. So that really caused a lot of friction between she and I. And then I got to see my mom as a boy mom. And it was all, my son, My son. Like my younger brother could do no wrong in my mother's eye. One, I think it's because he's the youngest, but two, because he's a man. Like African moms have this toxic relationship with their boy sons. Their boy sons can treat them like absolute trash, and they will still stand beside them. Their daughters, on the other hand, oh no, you couldn't make a mistake, and she's like on your side. Like she can't wait to be like, and that's why. Oh, she could wait. She can't wait to criticize you. But her son, oh, she has all the excuses as to why he is the way he is. But you, no ma'am. No ma'am. But I wanted to talk about this because when I try to express myself, whether it's to my dad, whether it's to like an older family member, it doesn't matter who I'm trying to express how, like, I really mourn the fact that I didn't have a very loving, soft, nurturing mom. It never goes well. It always ends with, that's your mother. And that really grinds my gear. Because don't you think I know that's my mama? Do you think I'm daft and stupid that I don't know that's her? That's who she is. That's that's who God blessed me with. I do know that. But just because I know she's my gateway to this earth doesn't mean that she gets to trample over me, or she gets to pick and choose what persona of me she is going to tolerate and not tolerate while giving unconditional love to somebody else, to like another sibling, right? So you have all this critique of who I could be. Mind you, I've gone to school. I've done all the things a good daughter should do. The only thing I haven't done is marriage, which I know in like my culture, like basically you're insignificant twat of a woman if you're unmarried. Like no, like women just don't deem you worthy or something. And but for my mom, that's not a weapon she can use against me because, like I said, I have no plans on being oppressed by someone. So until I can figure out what man is not going to oppress me while in a relationship with me, I'm going to remain single. So I always knew that fight, she going to have to fight it by herself because that's not a weapon you're going to use against me. I have no desire to be oppressed by men. I will always leave. She got to meet my ex, and I remember her telling me like, oh, you know, you're a woman, you just gotta bear, you gotta just bear the load. And I used to be like, I'm not bearing nothing, I'm definitely walking off if I'm unhappy. And I did. And she would be like, oh, you left? I said, yeah, I left. And I don't know, I think sometimes when I look at her, I think, especially now that I've gotten to live with her longer than I did when I was younger, I think she feels as though, one, she wasn't really ready to be a mom. So like parts of herself she wanted to truly develop, she couldn't because she had to take care of kids. So she really didn't fully get to go complete college style. But I did. Like I got to finish school. My dad is very huge on all of his girls going to school learning. And I think she kind of feels like that was taken away from her. So she's trying to get those years back. And she's trying to connect with me in a way where we are, it's very funny. She like wants to be connected to me and do all the fun loving things that I do in life, while also telling me, while also parenting me. And also she's a very girl's girl where, you know, you get to sit and you gossip and you talk about all the wrongdoings that I've done that happened in your life. And I'm not. Like I like talking about grand things. I like talking about psychology. I like talking about self dissecting, like almost like, you know, in relations to others, like where my psyche is, where my, like I like dealing with my true emotions. I like expressing all of my emotions, and that is not my mom. My mom is all about suppressing. Like something crazy could happen and my mom will go suppress it. My mom is going to act like nothing happened. We could have a huge argument here, and she will never want to go back to discuss what the argument was about, how we could better change our attitude towards that to make sure it never happens. She doesn't want to do that. She wants you to like legitimately scoop it up, put it on the rug, and put a beautiful rug over it and act like nothing happened and move on. That's not me. I feel like if you're raging at me, there's a reason you're raging at me. I want to get to the bottom of it. I want to know what's the matter. Like, why are you raging? What is the problem? She's not that. She'd rather suppress it. Okay? And then she over dramatized certain things. And I'm just like, what? And she can get petty. Okay, let's say when I'm in an argument, whatever I'm saying, I mean. If I say, oh, I'm never speaking to you again, I definitely mean that. I promise you the next day we're not discussing. Whatever I say, I stand beside hardcore. I don't throw words out. And if I'm arguing with you, I'm not throwing words at you to hurt you. I'm throwing facts at you. Now, are the facts going to hurt you? Yes, it's the truth. It's going to hurt you regardless. But I'm not going to come up with fallacies just to impact you. My mom is that way. Like when she's arguing, she's going to find the most random fallacy that's untrue. And lies trigger me. While I know some people get triggered by the truth, I get triggered by a lie. Like, I would rather you tell me 1,000 truths than you tell me one lie. Because where else? Why are you lying? So we've had some really bad arguments. Like, we've had some really bad arguments over, like, her, like I said, she wants to have this relationship with me. She wants me to be the eldest daughter and like take my position, but then also she doesn't want me to replace her. So she still wants to have decision making, like she still wants to be able to make decisions for me, but also telling me to grow up and make my own decisions. I don't understand it. It's very weird. Like, she still wants to have some type of dominance over me. And I feel like as you get older, with like as you're raising kids, and I don't have kids, these are some of the reasons why I am very careful on who I lay with, or very careful on who I have kids with, because I don't want to traumatize a human being that doesn't even necessarily have to be here. Like, I wouldn't be able to forgive myself if I gave birth to a child and I'm unhealed and I'm unprepared and I bring them in and all I do is traumatize them unknowingly. I don't think my mom choose to knowingly traumatize me. But though she's not knowingly traumatizing me, she is still traumatizing me because I can't talk to her. I don't feel safe talking to her. I don't feel safe expressing myself to her, which sucks because I want to be open and honest with her. I want to be like, you know, some of the things you've said to me really impacted me, and we go, you know, we have a deep dive about it and like discuss it and come to a conclusion as to why those things happen. And she takes her oral, like, I just know that's like a perfect world and it's never gonna happen, and that makes me sad. So I do know eventually if I do have kids, I do want to have that space. I kind of have that space with my younger sister now. Like, me and my younger sister have had very much so heated argument, but she kind of knows, like, I'm an open book. Like, come to me, tell me whatever. Like, you can tell me your darkest mistakes. Am I always going to react perfectly? No. I'm probably going to be like, what the fuck? How could you get into trouble? This, that. And then I'll help you hide the body. Does that make sense? Like, I will help you. Instead of standing there kind of judging you, I'll kind of help you kind of come up with solutions to the problem, not just judgments. So I want to do that. But when you try to discuss your emotions about your mom or any parents, whether it's like an absent father or like a emotional, what is it called? Emotionally unavailable mother, or a tyrant, or a malicious any type of mother parental figure who's like either intentionally malicious or unintentionally malicious, either traumatize you intentionally or unintentionally traumatize you. Every time you try to bring it up to talk about it with people, people always say, oh, well, that's your mom. It's almost like, what is your worry? What is your complaint? That's your mother. And also, it's hard because those people don't really get to see your mom, your mother's true self. They only get to see whatever, I'm sorry, whatever perception your mom is portraying to them. So while you might be behind closed door dealing with a a, a manipulative, narcissistic tyrant, the rest of the world doesn't see her that way. They just see this loving, fun woman who shows up. You know, like, let's say your mom is a businesswoman. Your mom shows up as a businesswoman. She's in control. She's doing all the things. So people in her office just see her as that. Like, she's a caretaker. She gives. She's loving to them. To you, it's different. You're at home. Like, girl, this is not the woman at home. This is a different woman. This is not the same. And I think I got lucky because I was able to step away from my mother and find my own identity and wasn't like swallowed by her. And now that she's back in the back in my world, I still have to like mentally detach from her and not take her words as Bible, if that makes sense. Like, I have to not take her words as Bible. Like, the only person who can trigger me to the point of like no return will be my mother. One word from my mom can send me into a spiral. Just one word. That's how much, she still like controls me. But what I've learned is that she is honestly a gateway. And I know we're supposed to be scared because, like, oh, your mother is like, she's like the gateway. She brought, you know how your mom is like, oh, I brought you into this world, I can take you out. First of all, that's a lie. Your mama cannot take you out. Your mama can try to take you out, but your mama cannot take you out because your mama is not God. She might be able to curse you, cast a little spell on you, give you a little bit of trauma, but she can't fully take you out because she's not God. That always saves me. So whenever she goes on a rant about how she brought me into this world and she has every right, I'm always like, but you're not God. You're not God. You don't get to dictate how I move, when I move, with whom I move. And I always tell her, I'm like, you have none of this energy for my younger brother. None. Not even like a slight. You have none of this energy for my younger brother. You have none of this energy for my younger sister. They are free to be who the hell they want to be. But I'm over here legally trying to do the right thing. And you still have all this smoke for me. Why? She can't to this day explain it. I am not friends per se with my mother, but I also don't have a parental figure either because I had to almost like raise myself. So most of the feminine attributes, I got them from women that I watched growing up, not really necessarily my mother. I wouldn't even take my mother's attributes because she has a lot of jealousy. She has a lot of envy. Like the toxic femininity, she has a lot of that. And I don't want that. Like, I don't have a necessity to be jealous of other women. I don't have a necessity to be wanting what other women have because I am satisfied with what I have, if that makes sense. Like, I am genuinely satisfied with who I am, what I have, and what I bring to. I'm satisfied. I'm a whole human being, and I'm satisfied with this. Like, I'm not unhappy with myself. Like, I am satisfied with all of my flaws. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to reject the fact that I was an introvert, but I'm satisfied with that now. Like, I'm okay with being an introvert. I don't have to be the center of attention. I'm satisfied with not being the center of attention. But if attention is given to me, I take it in microdoses because also at the same time, I know human beings can be vicious. So I know how to take attention in microdoses because what do you want? So I kind of have those things. I know how to set boundaries. I know how to walk away from toxic things. I am not lusting and longing for someone to love me because I like me. So if you're treating me poorly, I got to go. And that's for my mom, my dad, anybody really. If you're treating me poorly in what I deem to be a poor behavior, I got to go. And I think we all should be able to do that. I don't really know what everybody else's mother's wound is, but I think I don't necessarily think I have a I think I mourn the fact that I don't have this like warm, loving relationship with my mom, but it's not my whole storyline. Like, it's not my identity. I don't walk around saying, "Oh, I don't get along with my mom." Now, I think because of that, it has, because of the way I grew up, it has really played a way in how I formulate relationships. I find it really, really hard to like formulate and sustain relationships because, like I said, I am quick to cut people off because I don't like, I'm not gambling with my peace of mind. I just grew up in such a tumultuous, chaotic environment that whoever is coming into my world has to come with peace and tranquility. Or if they're coming with the same energy that I grew up with, I have to let them go. And because like there are parts of me that I'm still trying to heal and grow, I am still attracting chaos. And then also I'm the opposite of chaos. I mind my business a lot. I'm the opposite of chaos, but I can go to war when necessary. So I don't know. I'm still trying to heal from that. I don't know. I don't think, I generally think if you have a mother wound, you for one have to give yourself grace. I think if you have a mother wound, for one, you have to give yourself grace. You have to give your mother grace. But that doesn't mean you become a doormat for her. It doesn't mean if she's overstepping her boundaries with you, especially as an adult. Like as a child, honestly, you just gotta roll with it until you're an adult. And then also, I recommend you move away. I think moving away from my mom really helped me a lot to define my identity because you get to be your truest form, like your truest form without anybody correcting that. So I think one, you have to move away, solidify your identity, maybe come back. But if you have to live with her, you have to detach from her. And the way I detached from my mom was to just realize like she's just the gateway into this earth. She's not the end all be all. Even though that's what society deemed the matriarchy to be, she's not the end all be all. Like, it's not all about her. It's also about you. She brought you into this world not so you can serve her, but so you can live out your purpose. So if you believe you have a purpose, it will be easier for you to detach from your mom. If you don't have a purpose and you really hold on to her, everything she says is going to be so important to you. My mom, nothing she says is important to me at this time. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And she knows that. And it pisses her off so much because she wants to be able to say A and I take it into consideration. And I just don't. I'm just like, girl, you lived the life you were dealt. I'm not saying it's the right life that you wanted, but that's the life you were dealt. And you lived that life. And you lived that life away from your mother. And she, to this day, she also doesn't have a really great relationship with her mom. So it's a cycle. So if I have kids, I plan on breaking that immediately. Like, I want to have a great relationship with my mom. I want to be a parent because you can also be a children's friend and not a parent to the point where your children have to parent you. And I don't want that for my kids. Like, I don't want my kids to be parentified at all. Like, I don't want my oldest to be parentified. I want my oldest, or if I have multiple kids, or if I have one kid, to just know that they're human beings that you have to care for insignificantly. Like, you are your brother's keeper for the whole world, but also you are for yourself as well. Like, you have to you have to take care of yourself. That's also very important to me for having kids. Like, I want my kids to know that. I'm going to try to use this today because I didn't use it the last makeup I sat down and did. I'm going to do this really quickly and I'll be back. Over time, I just had to take my mom off the pedestal I put her in and put her in this human form where I knew she's capable of doing outrageous things to me. And experiencing a few betrayals over time has made me realize, like, she's just human. She doesn't see it, but I see it. I see her as just being human. And she doesn't want to accept her flaws. But I know that's what's going on. But because I feel like we cannot come to a conclusion on how to cohabitate without someone crossing somebody else's boundary, I've just taken a lot of steps back from her because I'm just like, those are my value system. Like, you have to be able to acknowledge when you're wrong. You have to be able to apologize. You have to be able to express exactly what it is that you feel and what it is that you mean by it. I cannot read your mind. And I don't want to be in this space where I'm constantly guessing and walking on eggshell with you because you're not expressing exactly how you feel because you're walking and talking around it. So we're going to have to be separate, and you can't resent yourself for doing that either. A lot of people tend to be upset that they have to do that with their parent. I don't, because I know, love you, I'm still gonna do what I'm supposed to do. And I think a lot of people think, oh, I cut. Oh, people think, oh, when you talk to people about motherly, like how you feel about your mom, they're like, oh, that's your mom, that's your mom. I'm never gonna be one of those kids who's like, you're cut off. Would we have Kiki, good Judy girl time? Probably not. But I'm still gonna do everything I can for you. You're still gonna be around me to the best of how much of you I can handle. But you're not gonna be my entire world. Like, it's just not gonna happen that way. Like, my mom is not my entire world. Like, I think that's so good for me. Because like I said, it's allowing me to like build an identity. I'm sometimes jealous of my younger siblings because they got the opportunity to have like freedom. Like, both my siblings got to choose if they wanted to go to college or not. I did not have that option. Like, they get to live lives that I could only dream of. They have freedom that I could only dream of. I could not do half percent of the things these people are doing. I could not do it. So a part of me is like jealous that they have that freedom, and I sometimes wonder what would life have been like if I had that much freedom growing up and I didn't. And it works to my advantage, but it also works to a disadvantage for me because I'm constantly trying to perform and outperform myself. And because I feel like that's the way I bring value, is to be on my best behavior and do the best I can. And it can get exhausting because you get tired of trying to pursue perfection. You do. So while everybody else is just allowed to be like this flawed individual, I had to constantly try to attain a level of perfection that everybody else was input to, like the requirements for. And even when you're trying to get that much perfection or whatever, you're still being hit with like pushback from your caregivers. So it can get daunting. It can get tough. But I do think like any wound you have from your parents is valid. I think a lot of time people also like to run from it. Like, they like to be like, oh, I'm not impacted by it. Oh, I'm hella impacted by it. I had to definitely go through this process where I mourned the fact that I was not going to have a good relationship with my mom. I was not going to have this ideal mother that I have built in my head of like what a mom is. I'm going to have to create that for my kids, but I'm not going to have it. And then also, I am going to have to take care of her somehow, some way. Like, I can't close the door because it's family. Like, even when you want to cut ties with family, you can't, because if anything major happens, they will still call you. You will still be contacted. You will still have to come to the home. You will still have to face them for Thanksgiving. You will still have to be, but you have to come up with contingency plans. Like, you have to come up with different ways on how you're not going to allow them to impact your mental health. And it's hard because it is hard, especially if you live with them, and it's hard even when you move away from them, even when you're trying to live your own life. As your parents get older, it becomes more and more your responsibility to take care of certain things. And some people are lucky enough that they have self-sufficient parents who came up with plans on how they were going to do certain things. Some of us were not that lucky. Okay, like, we were not. We just weren't. And we are going to get impacted some way, somehow. Like, some of the decisions, financial decisions, all of that is going to impact us some way, somehow as our parents get older. And it can be a daunting task. So, I don't know. I don't even know if I covered mother wounds properly, but I just felt like I needed to come on and like talk about it because I see a lot of people share about their mother wounds, and sometimes it's coming from such a negative place where it's just like they don't see where their mother is coming from, and it's just like, I hate that bitch. And I've been there too. I've definitely been to the point I'm just like, I can't stand her. But also, I have come to the resolve that she and I are just different. Like, we're just different. She doesn't want to let go, but I've let go of her and who she is. I'm just like, that's who she is. Like, I'm not going to change her. So I'm not going to keep fussing to change her. And she probably not going to let go of me because she probably sees me as something of hers. Like, something she owns. And it's going to keep breaking her heart because she doesn't really own me. I wanted to do mascara, but I don't think I am. Just because I'm just putting a couple of clothes on and I just wanted to look presentable for this. So, whether you have a spiteful, hateful mother, you have to come to terms with she's a spiteful, hateful woman. Whether you have a mother who is like literally a child and you're the one taking care of her, you just have to come to the conclusion that she's a childish mother. Where is it? She's a childish mother. And so on and so forth. You just have to come to the conclusion of those things and you have to accept them about that. And then you have to accept your role in her life. What is it going to be? Are you going to be the good daughter forever and just murder your personality for her? Or are you going to literally stand up for yourself and say absolutely not and set really strong boundaries? And if they don't want to follow the boundaries, you set barriers. Because boundaries are one thing. Barriers are walls where you're like, you can't even enter this fortress. Whether that is like moving away and not speaking to them for long periods of time, whether it's picking which holiday you spend time with them with, you just have to come up with different solutions of how you deal with that. But it's valid. All the times you were hoping for an apology but got literally told a bunch of excuses, your animosity towards that is valid. Like, eventually they're gonna feel it, but they're not gonna feel it until like their deathbed. I tell my mom that all the time. I'm like, eventually you're gonna see that you're wrong. Not even like you're wrong, because that's honestly what they're fighting against, being wrong. But it's not even about you being wrong. You're gonna see that some of the decisions you made with your kids are not the best, and by the time you're going to be ready to fix it, it's going to be too late because the Lord will be coming, calling you home. Like, you're not going to have the time to fix it. Now that you have like good health, and you could just do a couple of soul searching, you could come to the conclusion that maybe some of the ways I acted towards my kids wasn't the best. And admit that. But I have come to the conclusion that's never gonna happen. Like, I'm never gonna get that lady to admit that she didn't do the right thing some of the times. I wanted to talk about it, but I also wanted to not superly villainize her, because I knew she didn't grow up in the best environment that nurtured love and trust, and that's not her fault. But that being said, some of the issues she and I have is not just going to magically go away. My only prayer is that I don't repeat the same thing to my kids, and like I'm able to have space and room for my kids to approach me and tell me that I've fumbled the ball, and actually have the strength to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I impacted you in such a way. And how can I fix it? But yeah. So if you find yourself struggling with some relationship issues, you probably have mother wounds. all father wounds, like they show up in different ways. Like I know mine for one. It's just I always feel like I'm trying to do the right thing all of the time, but it's just me trying to do the right thing while everybody else is just like fumbling all over the place, and I'm just expected to give grace to those people, even though I'm the one who is being impacted. I don't know. I just wanted to talk about this, and like, it's not it's not like a very comforting topic to talk about. It's not even exciting, but I wanted to get it off, because who knows? Somebody out there could actually really be struggling with this to the point like they're pulling their hair out. I don't think you should pull your hair out about your mama. I think your mama is your mama. She gonna be that regardless. Like if it's not you, it's probably gonna be the other siblings. But if you feel like you're in a disposition where you don't feel close to your mom, it's okay. A ton of people will tell you they live far away from their mothers for that reason. If your mama has wronged you, like I mean, like just blatantly, disrespectfully wronged you, I'm sorry that happened to you, and you don't deserve that. But that's the hand that God dealt you, and you're gonna grow from that. You do grow from it. And as a woman, you don't have to make the same mistakes as your mama. And you also don't have to follow in her footsteps. You can really change your way of thinking. And like me, I'm complete opposite of mama. Not fully. Like we still have certain things that are like ideal, but honestly, I don't even believe her value system because she doesn't even follow her own value system. So honestly, she just has it because that's what she was told is right, and she thinks that's how everybody should act towards her, but she really don't be acting like that to everybody. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. I don't even know if I covered all the bases, but I don't know. That's all I have. But this is what it looks like for my makeup. I'm about to do this shoot quickly. These are all the clothes, you see. My bra is right here, but these are all the clothes I'm about to try on for my try on haul. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me here again today for another yap. Okay, thank you for allowing me to run my mouth and just expressing myself. I don't know if you've experienced this or if you understand what I was even trying to say, but if you do like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed but you've watched the video up to this point, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would love to continue growing this community and just meeting more people that are kind of like-minded like me. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.